Hi friends, welcome to codewithsugi YouTube channel. So in the previous video, we have clearly discussed about what is meant by instance methods. Okay, fine. So now we're going to discuss about what is meant by static methods. So for that, I'm going to create a class called static methods. Okay, I'm going to take this main method and finish it. So now we got a class for static methods. So first we will see the syntax for the static method. Syntax will be first, as usual, we will specify the access modifiers and then we will specify the keyword static. Okay, and then we have to tell about the return type. Okay, and then as usual we have to tell about the method name, then open close bracket and open close curly braces. So this is the syntax for static method. Now I'm going to create a static method with following the syntax. So I will say public, then the next we have to say the keyword static, then we have to specify void because I'm not returning anything here. Then we will say static method without parameters. So obviously in 4 ways we can define the static methods. Okay, we will see all those things. Okay, before that, if you are new to our channel and if you are not aware of what we have discussed till date, so you don't need to worry, we always used to add all the links in the description, so please go ahead and have a look on the previous videos. So as usual, for understanding purpose, just I'm going to have a sysout and I'm going to say like this is static method without parameters, and here we are not returning anything. Okay, fine. So now the question will be how we have to access this static method. Already this main method is a static method. So to access the static method, you don't need to create object. Okay, that means you can access static methods with class name itself. Okay, because the static methods are class level methods. That means whenever this class gets loaded into the class loader, at the time itself these methods will get initialized. So that's the reason you don't need to create object for this class. Instead of that, you can directly use this class name and you can access that method. If you say static methods dot, then see, you are getting an option of the static methods whatever you have in that class. I'm going to say this. In the Eclipse, you could see the difference between the static and non-static methods. Whenever you're calling it, it will be put in the italic style. Okay, now I think you can able to see this, right? So now if I go and run this, let's see what is the output we are getting. So for the static method, it's proven that we don't need object to call this static methods. That's fine. So there may be a question like, so whenever you have a static method, whether we have to use the class name or we can directly use this static method. For that question, if you try to type like this, obviously you will not get any error. So you can access this without the class name also, but whenever you try to access this kind of static methods, if you specify it with the class name, then whenever you are reading the code, it will be very easy, but technically it will allow you to without the class name also. So here I will create one instance method also, then we will see the remaining methods. Public void instance method. Okay, I will say without parameter, I will say sysout, this is instance method. Now if you go to the main method and if you say static methods dot, so obviously you are not getting that instance method as an option to select. Okay, so it's proven that the instance method needs to be accessed using the instances only. So how we can access that instance? Static methods dot, now if you say instance method, you will get the option. So I think now you can relate the instance method and static method with these examples. Okay, that's the reason I have created an instance method here. So the next type of static method will be, just I will copy this, and we all know the next one will be with parameters, right? And I'm going to say string name. So this is with parameters and I will say like plus name. So if you go here and if you try to run this, sorry, if you try to call this static methods dot static method with parameters, then we have to pass the value for that, right? So hello world. Now if you run this, so you got the expected output, right? This is static method with parameter hello world. So the next type of method is with return types. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this method and I will paste it here. Okay, then I will say double. Okay, because we already saw the return type with string and integer, so now I'm going to say it's a double. Then so without parameters but with return type, right? Fine. So now obviously the compiler will tell you that we have to return a double value because this method is returning double value. So I'm just going to remove this and I'm going to say return 34.0. okay, because this 34.0 is a double value, so now it's not complaining anything. Fine, let's we go and call this method and we will see. Now I'm going to run this. See, we are not getting output because the returned value is not printed, right? So I'm going to say sys out. So now if you run this, you will get an output like 34.0. Fine. For understanding purpose, the returned value. So now we got the output as expected. So the last type with this is with return type and with parameter. Okay. So I'm going to say with parameters and with return type. Okay. So instead of double, I'm going to say float. So here we will say float a. Then just return the a value. Whatever value you are passing, just we are returning that value. Okay. So if you go here and if you say sys out, the returned float value is, so here we're going to say static methods dot this one, right? Fine. So the value I'm going to say like 54.2 f, right? Because the float we need to specify with f. So we have discussed all those things in the data type section. So if you want to understand more about these things, please go and have a look on the previous videos and the links are in the description. Now if you go and run this program, see, we got the output as expected. So this how we can create a static methods in a class. Now we have clearly discussed about instance methods and static methods. So we saw some examples over here and I think now you got some good idea about what is mean by instance method and what is mean by static method. So one more thing which I want to discuss here is this table. Okay, we have discussed this table when we discussed about static in a theory way. So we're going to see some example for this table. Okay, so say for example how to access a static in a static method, how to access a non-static in a static method, all those things. Fine. So here I'm going to make this out, then I will have a kind of separator. Currently we are in a static method and which is a main method. I'm going to say static into a static. So I'm going to create one static variable also here. So that will be private static integer number equal to 10. So here already we are in a static method which is main method. So in this main method, let's we see how to access a static variable. First we will see static variable inside static method. So I'm going to say this out static variable access inside static method plus static methods dot number. So if it is a static method, we already discussed, right? Say for example, I'm gonna take this. Okay. So I'm going to say it here. Static method inside static method. Fine. Now I'm going to run this program and let's we see the output. So static variable access inside static method, we are getting 10 and here we are accessing this number using class name. Okay. So it's proven that inside of static method you can directly access the static variable and methods without instance. The same way we have to see in a non-static method also, right? So I'm going to create one more instance method here, or we can say public void non-static method. So currently we are inside the non-static method. So first we will see about access static variable inside non-static. Okay, so I will say this out. Just I will copy this and I will paste it here. Okay, access inside non-static method. So you can very well access the static method into a non-static method using class name. Okay, the same way let's we go and try accessing the method also. I will say like this, there is static method inside non-static method. So now if we want to access this non-static method, obviously we need an object, right? So I will say non-static method and I'm going to run this. Why I have created object here? Because this is a non-static method, because non-static methods we will access using the instance only, but inside of non-static method we can access the static member or a method using class name. Okay, fine. Now I am going to run this. See, we got the output as expected. Fine. So the same way, now I'm going to create one more variable which is a non-static variable. Say for example, integer non-static variable equal to 20. So now we have one non-static variable. Now let's we go to the main method and let's we see whether we can able to access it or not. So again, I will put one separator here. Right. I'm going to say this out. Then if I say non-static variable, we are getting an error, right? So if you mouse over on that error, we used to see like cannot make a static reference to the non-static field, non-static variable. So it's clearly telling that you cannot access the non-static variable inside of a static method without object. Okay, so if you say here new static methods dot, then if you say non-static variable, I'm going to say like non-static variable access inside static method. Okay, and then obviously we need to use the object to access the non-static variable. Okay, if I go and run this, now we are getting the output. So the same way inside of a static method, if you want to access a non-static method, then you have to create object. Okay, so we have discussed everything about static and non-static and how to access static inside of non-static and how to access the non-static inside of static. So we can conclude like if you want to access static inside of static, then you can directly access with the class name. The same way if you want to access static inside of non-static method, then there also you can use the class name and you can access the static methods. Okay, wherever you have a static method or a member, you can use class name to access the member and the method. Okay, fine. If it is a static method, and inside of static method, if you want to access a non-static method or a member, then obviously you need to create a object to access non-static method or a member. So that's all in this video. I think we have clearly discussed everything about static and non-static. If still you guys have any doubt, please feel free to put your comments in the comment box so that we will try to have a look and we will revert back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching our videos. Please subscribe our channel for more videos like this. Keep supporting us. Thank you.